Welcome back to Stand on Guard. I promised you this morning that I was going out to the carbon protest rally in Ottawa, and it was phenomenal. No, we didn't get thousands of people. It's Easter Monday after all. But when I come back, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened because this was a great day. So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need political change, but we also need to resolve to resist. Yes, please like the station, ring the bell, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. And even if you have, you might have been unsubscribed. I've been hearing that all day from other people involved in this business and what we're doing here. Other podcasters are telling me that today. Yes, people are being unsubscribed without them knowing. But when you like this broadcast, and you get those notifications, we beat Trudeau censorship and we beat the YouTube algorithm, because when you like something early in the broadcast, it determines that it gets watched, and that's very important for a small station like this that you're making into a bigger station every day. So this was a rally downtown, started out at the Centennial Flame in front of Parliament Hill. The weather just got better and better as the day went on. It was kind of cold this morning, standing around without gloves, getting pictures. But it got warmer and the crowd got bigger. I would say by the end of the day, we had over 300 people there. I think that's pretty good for Easter Monday. And these rallies occurred across Canada today. Really want to thank Johnny Rowe and Chris Dacey at Dacey Media for organizing this. They call themselves the Wellington Street Irregulars. You might remember that there were the Baker Street Irregulars in the Sherlock Holmes stories. And these guys are really a lot of fun because they make protesting fun. And they also make it very peaceful and very safe. And I want to comment today about the police force in Ottawa. I mean, I don't think a lot of people will ever truly forgive and forget what happened as a result of the Emergencies Act after February 14th, 2022, when the police came down hard. Wasn't all Ottawa police, though. They were RCMP, they were OPP, they were cops from around the world at that event. So I don't know who exactly was responsible other than the Prime Minister, who ordered the police to do this. And those cops who did engage in brutality should be condemned. But what happened today was good liaison work between the protest and the cops. I want to say that, give credit where credit's due, because it's important when they do something right to acknowledge that. But once again, thank you, Johnny Rowe and Chris Dacey, for organizing this protest, getting the site, and for pulling this off very well. And I want to go through what happened today, because this was a really, really bang-up day. So I'll give you an idea of, first of all, here we are. Here we are outside on Wellington Street.
Through the nose. We can't even go in to buy a loaf of bread. It's $2. Like 10 years, 5 years ago, now that same bread is $6. When is this going to stop? Enough is enough.
Yeah, we had a lot of people just making comments like that. The people were milling around. This is early in the protest, before the speeches, before we went over to Quebec. And we saw some tractors and we saw some trucks over there. But this is before we went on the march, which I swear must have been 5 miles, because I run or walk 5 miles a day at the gym when I go 7 days a week, maybe 5 to 7 days a week. This felt like a regular workout today. It was a long walk, but my goodness, we were invigorated. It felt like the Freedom Convoy. You could even smell that aroma in the air from you know what. And it was the same spirit of freedom pervading the crowd, pervading the people that were there. And it was really, really exciting and inspiring. So I'm glad I had a chance to get out there and get some of the footage. But of course, there's always a token person at these events who wants the carbon tax, who really is there just as a troll, just to disturb people, just to be a nuisance. And today's event didn't disappoint.
This is just pretty insane. All right.
So that was the extent, really, of the hostility. So I'm happy to report there was no major disturbance, that there was no violence, that there was no altercation, any physical manhandling going on. The police were quite good, as I said, and the counter protester did not really disturb the event. So that was good, because you don't want that kind of activity to overshadow the feeling of freedom, the feeling that we are doing something here. We're protesting Trudeau's carbon tax. And that was what this event was all about. April 1st, today, that carbon tax went up 23%. Now, I just checked out the price of gas coming home. It was $1.60 where I live here outside of Ottawa. I hear they're paying like over $2 a liter in British Columbia, my old home province, which has gone mad with environmental laws and all kinds of gas taxes that supposedly benefit the environment. It's sad, but that's what's happened today. And I want you to see this. This was really quite touching here.
You belong in the dumpster, Justin Trudeau! Who hates him? We do! Yeah. Trudeau's gotta go! Yeah! Trudeau's gotta go! Trudeau's gotta go!
Now, I don't always approve of children going to adult protests. I mean adult in terms of political adult. But this was really well handled by the mother who was there. And it was definitely a scene worth watching. Now, if you want to get your kids involved in political protests at a young age, I guess that's fine. But once again, some people think there should be a line drawn. I leave that to you. I don't think anything outrageous occurred here, but it was certainly a magic moment, if you will, of this protest today. And and so is this individual. Because as I joke in this interview, when I first saw this guy, I thought of Justin Trudeau, and you'll know why. So I'm with Clyde right now, and he's unmistakable.
Yes.
I thought he was Justin Trudeau when I first saw him, because he has a remarkable resemblance with the clown face. So Clyde, why are you here today?
I'm here to protest this ridiculous increase in our carbon tax, which we shouldn't have in the first place. We don't produce enough carbon to worry about. So that's why I'm here, is to protest the increase.
Yeah, I always remark that Canada produces about 1% of greenhouse gas emissions in the world.
Right.
So what difference would it even make if we live in caves?
Well, that's a rhetorical question, because you know the answer. It would make no difference. And greenhouse gases, name the biggest greenhouse gas there is.
I am from Egypt,
Yeah.
and there is
You know what it is?
What would you say it is?
Well, I don't know. But it's probably nitrogen or one of those gases like that. Or would it be oxygen, for goodness sake? Whatever the case is, carbon is a tiny little fraction of the greenhouse gases. It's nothing. It amounts to absolutely nothing. In fact, it's so low right now, if it went lower, then plants would cease to exist. And we need plants that consume carbon dioxide. That's what they eat, and then they off push, let's say, oxygen for us to breathe. So we need carbon. This idea that we're going to pay money to get rid of carbon is ridiculous.
So carbon is not pollution.
No, it's not pollution. We need carbon.
Yeah. Yes, we need carbon. We need carbon. And I think it's important we keep emphasizing Canada produces about 1% of the greenhouse gas emissions in the world. So even if we stopped living, we stopped doing everything that contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. We stopped heating our homes. We stopped air conditioning our homes in the summer. We stopped eating. We stopped breathing. We stopped purchasing gasoline for our cars. We all walk to work, whether it's 30 miles in or not. It would make any difference to this global carbon footprint. And I like how this guy says carbon is not pollution. We always hear this talking point from the crazy liberals, especially the craziest liberal. Well, that's either Justin or Stephen Guilbeault. One of the two craziest liberals, Stephen Guilbeault, the environment and climate change minister, constantly parrots this line about carbon being pollution, a tax on pollution. The carbon tax is a tax on pollution. This is balderdash. This is rubbish. This is nonsense. Carbon is not a pollution. No matter how many times you hear that talking point being read from the Liberal Party script by people like Stephen Guilbeault and Justin Trudeau, it is not pollution. Want to mention before I forget, we've got a special hoodie to offer here. And this was especially commissioned for this event. No farmers, no food. I'm going to hold this up so you can see it here. I didn't wear it because you can't always see the entire hoodie, but it's no farmers, no food. This is brand new. You can get it in the Stand on Guard Krayden's Right store. It's available. In fact, we're giving away one to an individual who's coming up shortly, Larry Reed. He's a dairy farmer. But I interviewed Larry, of course, and he's coming up soon. But I wanted to mention that before I forget. This is going to be a popular item because this event today was heavily populated, not only here, but from the East Coast to the West Coast by farmers. Farmers are the ones who are getting hit the worst by the carbon tax. Yes, they are. And did you know 5.1% of Canadians, 51% of Canadians are $200 or less away from not being able to pay their bills. In 2023, 123,000 Canadians consumers filed for insolvency. They went bankrupt. That is the effect of the carbon tax. In that same year, business bankruptcies increased by 129.3%. How are farmers being affected? In ways that other businesses might necessarily be not, or individuals. Some farmers are paying $180,000 a year because of the carbon tax. Greenhouses are being forced to pay $18 million per year after their natural gas rebate. And this will be $40 million by 2030. These are just a few of the facts. And with this 23% increase in carbon tax, we are now punishing farmers for heating barns to keep livestock alive and for growing food in our winters. And this is all adding up to impoverishment for people who feed us. And if farmers can't produce, we can't consume. Can't overemphasize this. And that last Clyde the clown said, he guessed that nitrogen's probably the worst offender in terms of a greenhouse gas emission item. Nitrogen happens to be a fundamental ingredient of fertilizer, and that's why the Trudeau government and that's why the World Economic Forum wants to ban fertilizer or at least reduce its use so substantially it's going to have a detrimental, deleterious effect on food production. We won't be able to not only produce enough food to export it, to sell it abroad, we won't be able to produce enough food for Canadians to eat. And this is ridiculous. A country this size with the arable land we have, we're going to be put in a position of not being able to feed our own population of 41 million. And this is outrageous. Now, I want to show you this interview with Larry Reid here, because he's a dairy farmer, and Larry will be getting a hoodie about farming. And I had a chance to talk to him. He actually spoke, but I had a chance to interview him on a sidewalk today.
Cash crop.
Let's do a brief interview.
Beef. Anyways, I don't know about the cash cropping this year with this raising the tax and lower cash price. Cash crop.
So how is the carbon tax affecting you directly, Larry?
The buying of propane
Yeah.
for drying crops down, and all the land taxes have just went up hell of a bunch too. So they're just going to keep taxed until there's nobody left. All the little guys are going to go. So anyways, it's not good.
How much do you think you're paying a month in carbon tax? Just an estimate.
I've never figured it out. It's just too much. And then it's not going to help in any way for the freaking pollution. It's just pocketed in the government's coffers, just like a lot of other programs. But it's going to be a killer because we use a lot of diesel, a lot of propane. And anyways, all I got to say is you want to cripple the farmers, it's working.
That's great. You want to cripple the farmers, it's working. Well, no, this country's not working. It's become totally dysfunctional. So no farmers, no food, Larry. If you're watching the broadcast, get this straight. One of these is coming for you. No farmers, no food. And you at home watching, you can find one of these at the store. Encourage you to get one of these because the farmers are the ones getting hit the worst in this, and a lot of Canadians aren't even aware of that. And that is quite tragic. So what did we do after the speeches? We had some speeches in front, actually just behind, depending upon where you want to put what your direction is. We were behind the Centennial Flame and we had some speeches. Then we all walked across the bridge to Quebec. We went down, past the art gallery, walked across there, and it was quite a journey. We arrived in Gatineau, came up the other side, came up the bridge. On the other side where all those government buildings are. And here we are. It gives you an idea of the size of the crowd. And before we reached our destination back at Parliament Hill, there was a beautiful scene here where people joined hands and formed a ring.
Axe the tax! 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 Axe the tax!
Let's get her done!
Axe the tax!
Axe the tax! Axe the tax! Axe the tax! Okay, now we have to stand.
That gives you a very good idea how many people were there and the attitude and the enthusiasm. This was a great day to protest Justin Trudeau's carbon tax. which of course is going to do absolutely nothing to arrest climate change, but absolutely everything to impoverish not just farmers and businesses, but you and I. It's going to mean an incredible and onerous, unjustified financial intrusion on our lives. Now, it was a real pleasure to go out and do reporting like this. I'm going to do a story for the Post Millennial on this event today. So a lot of this material is going to be used for that story. I continue to be a media person for new media like the Post Millennial, Human Events, and Epoch Times. But my independent media is what you're watching right now. And I'm very encouraged that we continue to climb upwards. And this has been a fantastic day. And it's a real pleasure to be able to do this the story this morning. And I want to say again, I got my ensign here because today, April 1st, 2024, is the 100th anniversary, the centennial of the Royal Canadian Air Force. And of course, I served with the Royal Canadian Air Force as an officer for almost 14 years. And it was one of the proudest times of my life, perhaps the proudest. And it saddens me to see the military destroyed by Justin Trudeau as he gives billions away to Ukraine and starves our own military of vital resources, misuses our military. Now, Liberals used to be not bad in terms of being able to sustain the military, but I'm talking 1950s, a long time ago, and not anymore. But we honor all veterans today, all serving military members, and all of those, especially today, who served and who serve in the Royal Canadian Air Force, the RCAF. 100th anniversary today, and I just wanted to mention that again. Something you can't do every day, is it? No. Thank you for watching today. I hope that gave you a good feeling that freedom is alive. Freedom is still alive. And we are going to fight the carbon tax. It's going to be repealed when Justin Trudeau's history. Goodbye. And we need to keep fighting Trudeau's censorship even stronger because that could put us in jail. It's not just going to be a bad tax. It's going to be a bad trip, man. It's going to mean jail, house arrest for thought crimes, $100,000 fines for so-called hate offenses, life imprisonment for hate offenses, revved up human rights tribunals going after people ratting out other people because they don't like them and accuse them of being hateful or offending them. The Online Harms Act is the most odious legislation in Canada today, and it's worse than anything else in any democratic nation or even nations we don't think are that democratic. It's worse than anything Russia has. It might even be worse than anything China has. Trudeau's gone that far. And here at Stand on Guard, we're going to fight this legislation tooth and nail every day of the week. And we're going to see it either not pass in the House of Commons or repealed by the next government, which will not be Liberal and which will not be led by Justin Trudeau. I think I can say that with some degree of certainty. But you know what I felt today? The same sense of optimism and triumph that I felt when I was covering the Freedom Convoy in February 2022, when I was out there almost getting frostbite, covering this story that was phenomenal and that gave me reason to hope. I had reason again to hope today. These folks were tremendous, and they really are great Canadians. We'll be back again tomorrow with more of the news you need to know, more of the information you want to hear. Thank you for watching this episode of Stand on Guard and being a part of the KRAYDEN'S Right channel. If you've watched this episode to this point, you've watched it all. And that's really important for a small station like this. We always say subscribe, hit the bell, be a part of the KRAYDEN resistance. Resolve to resist. That's what we're doing. And if you become a subscriber, if you're a supporter of this station or a member through Substack, through YouTube, and now you can be a local as well, that's so important to us because I couldn't do this without you. I made a decision to become an independent journalist about a year ago because I wanted to bring all of my experience in the military, in journalism, to you. I don't promise anything I can't deliver. I don't offer clickbait. I offer truth. The truth is out there, and it's my job to bring that truth to light and to you. Thanks for being a part of the Krayden's Right resistance, and we'll see you again soon. So we are in a very precarious position in this country. We need a political change, but we also need the resolve to